Listen up, hockey fans. You're in the right place. A no-hold-barred debate between two hockey fans. Stay up to date on current issues in the NHL, even the controversial ones. Welcome to The Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud.
It's time for the Debate Hockey Podcast, Episode 9. Tonight we talk about trending teams, who's on the up, who's on the down, and the NHL's worst franchise. I'm Brad Burud, joined alongside co-host Blake Friars for another great edition of the Debate Hockey Podcast.
Win big! Inside Edge Hockey News. Saturday Night Challenge. Every Saturday night on DraftKings.
Topic number one on the debate tonight, trending teams. We're going to talk Eastern Conference here first, and we're going to pick 5 teams in the Eastern Conference, and we're going to give you what we think if they're trending up as a franchise or down as a franchise. And let's start it off with the Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins currently right now sit in the Atlantic Division in third place with 32 points, 9 points back of Toronto, 12 points back of Tampa Bay, so they're sitting in that third spot, 2 points ahead of Montreal. Blake, what's your thoughts on Boston?
Boston's a kind of interesting one for me because they got Tuukka Rask making $7 million. They're kind of getting old. Krejci's getting old. Chara's getting old. Backes isn't getting any younger. But they have added a lot of youth into this lineup with Pastrnak and Charlie McAvoy, who's very fun to watch on the back end. So when we talk about trending forward, you're talking about in the next 3 years?
Yeah,
three years.
Are they moving up? Are they moving up the ladder in the next 3 years, or are they moving down the ladder?
I don't see them moving up the ladder. I see them taking a step back for sure because they're an aging core for sure.
Well, I mean, I think they do. They have some aging, but they also have some young infusion of talent. They were a tough one. I went back and forth because I immediately went to pick on Rask, which is completely unfair because Rask has been
having a good year. He's 17-7 and 8 with the 2.4 goals against average.
Yeah, I mean Rask has been good. So their offensive core, they've got some infusion of youth there, and I don't think they're bad with. I like Krejci, I like Pastrnak. Backes is old, but they know the shelf life on him, and
yeah.
I think this. I'm afraid. I'm afraid this team. I would say that they're going down, but instead of saying they're going like down, I think they're more
steady.
Going to be that muddling middle, fighting for a wild card spot over the next 3 or 4 years, and seeing how it goes from there. But that's kind of where I see Boston.
The big bad Boston Bruins aren't the big bad Boston Bruins they once were. When they beat Vancouver in the Stanley Cup final, they absolutely beat the piss out of Vancouver.
Yeah.
They're just a mean hockey team. That's what Boston was known as, hard hitting. And then Lucic left, and all those guys left.
I think it was
Riley
so
Smith
smart
left.
to get rid of Lucic, though.
For sure.
But yeah, I just think this is a team that's kind of in the middle of nowhere right now.
They don't really got a true identity anymore. No.
Let's talk Montreal. Trending up or down?
Montreal is okay. If we're basing off 3 years, Montreal's definitely going down.
Montreal sits fourth in the Atlantic at 30 points, 13, 14, and 4. Had a bad struggle there for a while, but has rebounded now a little bit with some wins. But this one was easy for me.
It's easy for me too because you look at Weber. You got 2 contracts I look at.
I do not think Weber's bad. I don't.
No, I'm saying. But for the future, you got Shea Weber making close to $10 million. And Carey Price's new contract kicked in at $10.5 million next year. It's going to be very, very tough for Montreal to add players to go for a playoff run.
I think
they need to get rid of guys like Plekanec making $5 million playing third line minutes, and they honestly, people call me crazy for saying this, but honestly, I think they need to start fielding offers on Max Pacioretty.
Oh, absolutely.
He should have been traded a couple of years ago, in my opinion.
Here's what I think. I don't think Weber and Price are the problem. I think those are the 2 good decisions they made. But they are so awful down the middle that there is no way you can build a successful team with the centers that they have.
Yeah.
They don't have any good prospects either. This team's in trouble, and I agree with you. They got to move Pacioretty. They got to do something. Galchenyuk.
Next year is interesting, though. They could go out and get a John Tavares. That is a whole different game changer.
John Tavares is not leaving the island.
Okay, if they get a new rink, maybe not.
He's not leaving.
You don't think... 2 weeks ago, I think you...
No, 2 weeks ago I said he's not leaving. That's the one thing that I have said solid that he is not leaving.
If they don't get a rink, then he's leaving.
If I was John Tavares, I would tell him straight up, I need to know what's going on so I can know if I'm packing my bags or not. But with what's happening with the rink now, it sounds like it's about an 80% goal. I don't think he wants to leave.
If that falls through, though, he is gone. 100%
he'd be a fool
gone.
not to be.
100% gone.
Right? Wouldn't he be a fool not to be? But if I'm John Tavares, he has 30 other teams that want to sign him. I am sure not going to Montreal.
Okay, but I'm saying, like, if they want that number one center, they can go and sign Tavares. No, I don't think he'll go there either. But what I'm saying is, Brad, Montreal's in trouble. They're in big trouble.
We're not debating this one. We both agree this team's in trouble
because their defense is atrocious right now. Outside of Weber, maybe that Mete kid. It's tough to say, but when you got Carey Price healthy, Carey Price is Carey Price, and he showed that the last week. He had a 6-1 stretch, and got Montreal back into the playoff picture. But who knows for sure?
It's going to be a struggle. Let's go on to the next team. This is one we might debate a little bit. New Jersey Devils. Let's take a look at where they're sitting right now. New Jersey's sitting in third in the Metro, 36 points, one back of Washington at second, and three back of Columbus in first. 16-9-4 to start the year. I don't think anybody predicted that. Anybody saw that. They are 10-4-2 on the road. I thought that's a really interesting number. Mm-hmm. This team's really, really, really overachieved. So, my question, are they headed up or are they headed down? Is this a one-off this year, or is this something we're going to see trending?
I think we're going to get used to seeing New Jersey at the top of the standings. They're a very young hockey team. Taylor Hall, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt, Will Butcher on the back end has been absolutely phenomenal. Corey Schneider and
they got Vatanen now.
And they got Sami Vatanen. They're shoring up their defense, but honestly, very young team. And they got the Damus and Severson. They got Marcus Johansson. He's been hurt. Obviously, that's a big piece coming back when he comes back. Marcus Johansson for the top six. And in net, Corey Schneider, he's 11-6. His save percentage is kind of high, way higher than his career average. But
I like this team.
They're a good hockey team.
I think this year they're going to fall back and fall out of the playoffs. I do, but I think they're going to. So. I do. I know we argued that last week, but I think just because they're young and they got a lot of growing to do, but I think this team's going to be back next year and it's going to be good. I mean, they're away. They're not. I'm not talking cup contender good. But they're growing.
They're in the right direction, big time.
Well, I tell you what, in the last 12 months, look at what this team has transformed to.
Well, whenever you get a top two pick, I mean,
pretty impressive.
Any team,
their
values stuff.
But you're not talking.
It's all about the luck.
You're not
of
talking
the draft
generational though. You're not.
He's no McDavid or Matthews or Laine, but
Patrick and Hischier, this year's guys were good players, and they're going to be great players in this league, but they're not changing franchise players. So that's going to be an interesting one, but I think they're headed in the right direction. On to the next one. Let's talk New York Islanders, up or down. Let's look where they're at first here. They are sitting in fourth in the Metro at 35 points, one back of Jersey. Yeah. Man, I picked on this team, and I would say, based off my gut feeling and past debacles, this team is not moving up.
No, not at all.
But I also think that they have currently...
You look at their stats. Josh Bailey is their leading scorer. The guy has been irrelevant his whole career. And all of a sudden, he's got 32 points in 29 games.
You know what though? Look at
That
this,
first line is good. Don't get me wrong. 32 points.
Anders Lee is a secret superstar in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
He is out of the worlds. I think that puts him in third in goals in the league.
Yeah.
It's unreal. This team isn't that bad. I like Brock Nelson. I like Matthew Barzal.
Matthew Barzal is very good.
This has the makings of Nick Leddy's having a career year. This is a good hockey team. It's a team.
Jordan Eberle's on pace for 35 goals. Jokes on Edmonton, that's for sure.
Nah, I didn't pace for 30.
Yes, he is. He got 12 goals in 29 games. Do the math.
This team surprises me. I want to tell you that this team's going to be growing in the right direction, but my gut still isn't letting me do it.
Okay, but what's holding them back from just taking a step in the right direction, I think, is goaltending. Okay? You look at Thomas Greiss. Thomas Greiss is save percentage is almost 4, and Yaroslav Halak is approaching 3.
They need to get a goaltender, but you know why I think this team's not going to go anywhere. I have no faith at all in Garth Snow. He has done is screw things up.
Hey, it's kind of like in Philly with Ron Hextall.
I don't think Ron Hextall's bad.
Okay, but Philly's definitely not going in the right direction right now.
I don't know.
They've lost 13 of their last 17, 18 games.
Yeah, but you know what? They're young and they're in a transition period here.
Okay, but anytime you got Giroux, Couturier leading you up front, you shouldn't be losing 10 games straight in a row.
No, I'm with you.
Voracek.
Yeah, but there's a lot of underachieving going on there. Let's talk one more team in the East, and then we'll move on to topic 2. But Carolina Hurricanes, a lot of people had them pegged to really kind of take a step this year. Mm-hmm. They did, but I feel like they've fallen back now. They were, if we had pulled these standings up a month ago, we'd had a whole different picture. They've fallen back now to 7th in the Metro at 29 points, tied with Philly. And that surprises me a little bit. They're 3-4-3 in their last 10. They've really kind of fallen back to earth, and a lot of people had them, pegged as a team on the rise, and I don't. I have them as a team going down. I'm not a Jordan Staal fan. I like Skinner. I'm not a Justin Williams fan. I think this team lacks depth. I love their defensive core. I love it.
It's very young.
Very good and very young. And so maybe I'm going to get proven wrong on this. But I don't like who's in the nets.
No.
Cam Ward's at the end of his career.
Scott Darling.
Scott Darling is not the answer. No. Scott Darling was a wonderful story.
Last year for Chicago.
And amazing story. And it's
contract.
Great. And I'm glad he got his money. But Chicago knew. Chicago had a gut on this one.
He's a genius.
And
they got a second-round pick on him last year.
I know. So
or a third-round pick.
I question whether this Carolina team can really continue this pace.
I like Carolina. Personally, I like Sebastian Aho. I like Teuvo Teravainen. I'm a Jeff Skinner fan, and you mentioned their defense: Noah Hannafin, Justin Falk, Jacob Slavin, Hayden Fleury, very young D-core. A D-core that's aged from 20 to 24.
Oh,
perfect!
And you got Slavin and
when they're in the prime of their career, they're going to be 26 to 24 to 26.
I like Trevor Van Riemsdyk for that matter.
Yeah,
but
goaltending though, goaltending is so important to a hockey team. Without goaltending, you're not going anywhere.
No
chance.
I'm with you on that. I think
goaltender is the most important.
There's no way I can give them an onward up without goaltending. But
nope.
The East is interesting, and it's been entertaining this year. The Metro's been ridiculous, and the East has been fun to watch.
Inside Edge Hockey News, faking the slapper and going top shelf.
Topic number 2 in the debate tonight, trending teams. Let's take a look at that Western Conference, and let's talk about 5 teams in the West and discuss if this franchise is headed in the right direction or headed in the wrong direction. Number 1 on the docket, and it's a team we would have never, ever guessed that we'd be talking about. And that's the Chicago Blackhawks. What do you think, Blake? Trending up, trending down?
I don't know.
Let's talk. First, I should preface where they're at in the standings.
Yeah.
The Blackhawks are sitting 5th in the Central Division with 33 points, tied with Dallas at 4th. That's out of the playoff spot by 6 points in that Central. Not a place we're used to seeing the Blackhawks at, though. It's just not.
Yeah. You know, the dynasty was great. They won those 3 cups in 5 years, but their core, they're the same thing as Boston right now. Their core is getting old.
Well, they're financially tapped too because they got Taves and Kane.
Every single year though, but their GM is a genius. If you really look at it, they won the cup in 2010. They traded Bufflin, they traded Ladd, they traded a couple other key contributors to that team, and they won in 2013.
You know,
it's crazy how they can keep flipping players and keep winning.
Eventually, every franchise that's having success is going to have time of not success.
Yeah.
And I think if you talk to the Pittsburgh fan base and the general managers, and same with Chicago, they would say, all right, we'll take 4 or 5 years of struggling for the cups we won.
Yeah.
So how do you got to be happy with that. But, that being said, I think the Saad move was not so good. Taves has declined a little bit. I still think he's a wonderful player. Mm-hmm. I just look at this roster, and
they don't got much depth.
No.
Anisimov is not very good. Richard Panik, Ryan Hartman. Your favorite player, Lance Bowman, hey? From the Flames. Lance Bowman.
You know who's a guy that's kind of a surprise on this Blackhawks team?
Corey Crawford.
Well, no.
That's the best player
Corey
right now.
Crawford's really good.
That's the reason why they're even close to the playoffs.
Gustav Forsling on defense has been good. He's been good, and just in the last 5 games, he's got 3 points. He gets lots of shots. Gets a lot of shots on net, and I've liked his play. I think this team is at the point now where it's time to really do a hard.
They gotta start thinking. They gotta start thinking of where they want to be in the next 3 years, and they gotta start trading some household names. I hate to say it, but I think they're gonna have to look to trade like a guy like Brent Seabrook to get his $7 million off the cap. And
I think you're right
for
there.
Sure.
I think you're right, but I don't think anybody's going to give him Seabrook without them retaining some salary.
Yeah, I'd retain a couple million rather than pay him 7.
Yeah,
7.8.
Yeah,
almost $8 million. Yeah. I think they're trending down.
Next team we're going to talk about, Minnesota Wild.
Minnesota Wild. I had them at the top of the Central Division.
So did I.
And to say they're going down
is probably not fair.
Is not fair to them because they've been hit with injuries. Mikal Granlund's out right now, Parise's out, and Spurgeon's out. That's 2 top 6 forwards and a top 4.
Well, they're sitting in 6th in the Central at 31 points, 2 back of Chicago. This team's struggling. This team's.
They're in a wild card spot right now. So
they've won a few games as of late here.
Yeah.
They
just hopped. They got 33 points.
They're 5-4-1 in their last 10. They're 8-3-2 at home, so they're good at home. For me to look you in the eye and say that this team's headed in the wrong direction, I would say no. But I would have to say that this team's headed in the middle. And
I like their decor, though. I love Minnesota's decor. They got Ryan Suter, they got Matt Dumba, you got Jared Spurgeon, and
Brodin
and Jonas Brodin. The good top 4 right there for sure. And they're young, outside of Suter. But Charlie Coyle's out with an injury right now. He's only played 13 games. And
Are you a Dubnyk fan?
I've never been a Devin Dubnyk believer. I mean,
I don't think he's a bad goalie. I thought he was put in a bad situation in Edmonton, and
any goalie's not going to play good with that defense in front of him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Devin Dubnyk kind of shocked the hockey world last year, and really took the NHL by storm the way he played last year. but this year his goals against is almost 3. I'm not sold on it.
I think they've had I think one of the things you look at the Wild rosters, they've had a lot of guys that have underachieved this year, and I worry about their offensive depth. I don't know. The more I think about it, I worry that this team's trended down.
Yeah, they're for sure trending down. Absolutely.
I can't believe I'm saying that because this is a team I had picked to win the Central.
It's kind of not fair though to say they're trending down, but
they are.
They are, yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next team here in the Western Conference. Let's talk San Jose Sharks.
San Jose Sharks are a arrow pointing right down.
Not so fast. They're sitting third in the Pacific now, tied with Calgary with 34 points.
Brad, think about it. They just lost Patrick Marleau. Thornton's 39, 38 years old. Pavelski's getting old.
Pavelski's not old. He's underachieving this year.
He's getting old. Like, Brent Burns has 4 goals this year. He had 30 goals last year.
Yeah, but Brent Burns is still a stud on the back end.
Okay, Logan Couture, he's having a decent year. Thomas Hertl, underperforming. Jonas Donskoy, underperforming.
He's injured. Bodker's injured. I love their goaltending in Jones.
I like Martin Jones too.
I think Martin Jones is good.
They're
I like their defense.
Yannick Hansen has 2 points in 20 games.
Yeah, well,
that's brutal. He's probably and he's been healthy, scratched. The guy has. It's probably his worst season since
they've got career. They got some offensive issues. That's for sure. They do. And Thornton's getting old. And
they don't really got anybody coming up that's young that's going to replace a first line center with Thornton leaving.
Well, Joe Thornton's not the easiest guy in the world.
Couture's a winger. Is Thomas Hertl a first line center? Absolutely not. Who's going to replace Joe Thornton? Right now on the team, who replaces Joe Thornton when he leaves? There's nobody.
Nobody. No.
There's nobody. I think they're in big trouble. Like when they got nobody coming up in the system, and they're in big trouble.
That'll be interesting. Let's move on to the next team. Let's talk Anaheim Ducks, up or down. And Anaheim currently sits right now in 6th in the Pacific with 31 points, 1 back of Vancouver, 3 back of Calgary and San Jose.
I think they're going up. I mean,
you do, huh?
When they're healthy, they're one of the best teams in the NHL.
I would agree.
Like when healthy, when they got Getzlaf, Kessler, they just added Henrique. That's a good trade for the future. They're gonna lose. And Patrick Eaves, he had 30 plus goals last year. He's only played 2 games this year.
Yeah, but that was a one out, blow your wad.
That could be a one hit wonder. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure.
Well, I like the addition of Henrique, and now they're getting guys back. Here's my take on that Anaheim.
But
this is their year. They've got to make hay this year.
Why? What makes you think that?
Well, Getzlaf and Perry aren't getting any younger. And I'm not writing them off because I think they're both competitive players that are really good hockey players.
But they're still under team control for the next 5 years. Probably 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're going to have to do a good job of plugging in some of these.
John Gibson, though, that could be a dent in
I
the
like
track
Gibson
for sure. But
I like Case on the wing, on the third line. He's been good.
10 this year, Brad.
Yeah, they played with a team that's been injured. It's been their whole AHL team all year.
I do like their defense. So I think
you were the one 2 minutes ago saying that this team's on the rise.
They are, though. Honestly, I think they're on the rise because of their defense, Brad. Their defense.
Honestly,
I think their defense is going to take them to the next level.
This Western Conference, it's hard to tell right now who's on the rise and who's on the fall.
There's a lot of underperforming teams.
There's a lot. Plus, it's hard to be good in the West right now because there's so many teams that are good.
Mm-hmm. Teams like Winnipeg, St. Louis.
It's hard to know who's going to be good a year from now because
you don't know. Yeah,
there's so much fluctuation in it. last team we'll talk about in the West is Dallas, and right now Dallas is underachieved this year. We kind of thought they were going to do a lot better.
I picked them to get first in the Central.
I picked them to do second. They're sitting at 33 points in that 4th spot. They've really come on late. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They're 10-4 at home. They've been really good in Dallas, but really bad on the road. And this is a team, when I pull up their line charts and I look, and on paper, I think this is a great hockey team.
Very well coached too.
And I think this is a team that's moving up. I do. Even though they've struggled a little bit this year and underachieved, I still think this team is headed in the right direction. Yep. And I think we'll be talking about Dallas for quite a few years to come.
Yeah, for sure. When you got Tyler Seguin, Radulov, Jamie Benn, Jason Spezza, he's in the last year of his contract, 11 points in 30 games, really underperforming. But you look at their goaltending. Not good.
Why? What's wrong with Ben Bishop?
Not good.
Why?
Ben Bishop?
What's wrong with Ben Bishop?
He's not bad, but Kari Lettinen.
He's your backup.
Okay, but
he's a great backup. He's better than the backup in Montreal. He's better than the backup in Ottawa.
Okay,
he's better than the backup in.
Though. That's holding up your whole. That's holding up your plan.
What are you going to do about it?
Try to get rid of him or something.
No, who's going to take him?
Buy him out.
You can't.
You can't buy him out.
Not the Dallas Stars aren't financially ready to be buying anybody out. It's not like that team's loaded in money.
Do you like the Radulov signing?
No.
I don't like it either.
It's scary.
It is scary.
He's doing all right, but it's scary.
He's not worth that much money, though.
No. I'm with you.
Like, Montreal even gave him a lot of money last year, too.
I think another area we might have to worry about is defensively. Is Dallas good?
Yeah, well, they got Klingberg.
I like Klingberg. Lindell's good, but after that, it's not that great.
Jamie Olesniak, Greg Pattern. Julius Honka, I think, is going to be a good for them in the future. Dan Hamhuis. Yeah, their back end's definitely depleted for sure.
I think the West is summed up by, man, anybody can win at any night, and it's
that's what the NHL is these days.
And the West is a tough go.
Inside Edge Hockey News, bringing you inside the game.
Topic number 3 in the debate tonight, the NHL's worst franchise. And when we say worst franchise, we mean on the ice and off the ice combined. I think I'm going to name one and you name one who are the finalists. And, I'm going to name the Florida Panthers.
I'm going to name the Arizona Coyotes. I mean, complete disasters, both of them.
And I can argue why both of them are the worst. But
let's start with Florida, though.
Yeah, let's talk Florida.
Florida made a controversial move 2 years ago, firing Gerald Gallant, right?
They're sitting 27th in the league right now in standings at 26 points.
Yeah. Their attendance, god-awful. You can get a seat for $6 up in the nosebleeds and go sit at the Florida bench for free.
Their seats their attendance is 29th in the National Hockey League right now, according to
Arizona's 30th?
NHL attendance on ESPN. No, actually, the Islanders are 31st. Yeah. But you know what I got to say about these attendance reportings? Absolute joke.
Mm-hmm.
I turn these games on. I watch a Florida game. I watch an Arizona game. I'm not trying to rip on a couple other teams, but Canucks, Carolina, you turn their games on. Detroit, there's nobody there. There is no way that Arizona, I would love to see what Florida's attendance was on Saturday night against Winnipeg. It was atrocious. It looked like nobody was in the seats.
It's like a high school game.
They're averaging 12,636 in Florida. I don't think so.
No. I think they're averaging maybe 6.
It's probably more than that because they're big facilities, so probably 8. But you can't run a National Hockey League organization making 8.
No, not happening. Yeah, for sure it can't.
I think
can't happen.
So now let's talk Arizona. Arizona sits dead last in the National Hockey League, 19 points. Now,
we're talking about worst franchise. Is Arizona even going to be in the league?
Well, why wouldn't they be?
They've been in Arizona. I mean,
they've been losing money for 22 years.
Yeah.
In 2000, did a little research on this. In 2015, they reported that they lost $34 million. Now I found another for that franchise. I found another report that says it was actually $16 million. Okay, whatever. I'm guessing more. It's 34, but Call it in between there. Let's say 25.
No.
You can't keep doing this. They've lost money for 22 years. They struggle with attendance every single year, and their excuse is, well, we can't have the team in Glendale. We can't have the team in Glendale. We have to move it to Phoenix. Well, we can't. It's this and that. It's this and that. It's this and that. There's excuses all the time. But Bettman is dead set on keeping this team in Arizona,
He
and they
always goes to bat for them. I don't understand.
They've been everywhere. Trying. They've done everything to keep a team in Arizona. And you know what? When you start a franchise, I'm all about making sure that you give them a good, strong, hard go to make sure it works.
That's what they're doing in Seattle right now. They approved their new arena and they allowed them to start a season ticket drive. That's a good question to maybe debate about for sure.
I just look at Arizona and I'm so frustrated that I mean, we have a league that's talking expansion, and I know they want to get into some of these other markets, and I don't blame them. But how can you talk expansion when you have teams that are struggling so bad?
Yeah.
You have to get the problems fixed, and then you build on.
I don't understand how the salary cap is going to jump $6 million.
Well, let's face it, Arizona's not going to be able to afford the minimum.
No.
So it's going up, how much? $6 million this year?
So, yeah, they said.
Okay, so if it goes
at 74 right now, and it's going to be it could be going at $8 million.
Yeah, but I don't think it will. But let's say $6 million.
Yeah, so that's $80 million.
So that's $6 more million that they're going to lose next year.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to, because the base goes up too.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to pay out $6 million more, and sorry, that's $6 million more loss.
Yep.
Boy, there's troubles. They got to get that thing figured out in Arizona.
Absolutely.
I think that's my vote for the worst franchise.
Yep.
Inside Edge Hockey News. Bringing the NHL to the fans.
Thanks for listening to the Debate Hockey Podcast. Check out Inside Edge Hockey News for all your hockey news. And, of course, find us on all forms of social media. Download the Debate on your favorite podcatcher. Check us out on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeart, and YouTube. Thanks for listening. Enjoy this week's hockey action. And as we head into the Christmas break, Blake and I would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. We'll be stepping aside for the holidays to spend some time with our families and taking a break from the podcast for just a short bit. We'll be back bigger than better than ever on January 8th. So have a great holiday season and Merry Christmas.
Inside Edge Hockey News on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. Get connected.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com and on Twitter at InsideEdgeHOCKE and Facebook at Inside Edge Hockey News. We'll catch you next time.
This episode was produced by Inside Edge Hockey News Radio and distributed by the Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.